Next, I want to say something to Gemini. Gemini are like, they've been going through a little battle this past fall into winter season. Gemini have been dealing with a battle this past fall into winter season. And the reason they've been dealing with a battle, actually, I'm not going to tell you the reason. Been an ego heart battle for Gemini. Gemini, they get these massive, gorgeous epiphanies that feel very divinely connected. And then there would be this, the Gemini, the dual personality. Then there would be this immediate negative response that was highly self-destructive. And so a lot of Geminis were feeling like high heights of understanding. Understanding truth is about like the world. And then they would do something like ridiculously opposite immediate after. Almost like, hi everyone. Or should I be waving at you? Almost like for what's it called? Gemini, like they've really been feeling like a true dual personality at this time because every time they have an epiphany, they do something they regret like immediately after. And I can imagine that's really frustrating Geminis. And I imagine it's also embarrassing because Geminis will be like, listen, everyone, I understand. I know the truth. And then like they're doing crack on the street and people are like, I thought you said you knew the truth. And they're like, shit, I did. I said I knew the truth. How'd I get here? Sorry if that analogy wasn't funny. It was supposed to be funny. Sometimes it hits too close to home for some people. Not me though. Hallelujah. Let's continue. So Gemini are feeling guilty. And Gemini also, like for a while, they weren't really trusting themselves because every time Gemini would have a good moment, immediately after they would kind of self-sabotage. And so Gemini went through a quiet time. Gemini are going to be stepping into the light at the end of this year. And by stepping into the light, I mean stepping into the realization of like how they actually knew they were going to do that self-sabotaging thing before they did it. Gemini knew they were going to do that. They knew they were going to do that. Just the whole time they were gaslighting themselves in pretending, oh, I didn't know I was going to do that. How could you do that, self? I didn't know I was going to do that. And then at the end of this year, they're going to be like, oh my God, I knew I was going to do it. Why was I even trying to gaslight myself? But for Geminis, it's completely an internal experience of fooling themselves, realizing they were fooling themselves, and realizing they weren't fooling themselves. They were doing it all on purpose because chaos is tasty to a Capricorn. And I don't judge you for that, Capricorn. Excuse me, I meant to say Gemini, not Capricorn. We'll talk about Capricorn next if I have to. Chaos is tasty to Gemini. Chaos is not tasty to Capricorn at all. Chaos is tasty to a Gemini. So for Gemini, it's just a lot more tantalizing and fun and enjoyable when there's a little bit of chaos in the mix. But somewhere down the lines, like this year, Gemini started creating chaos for their own selves in a way that wasn't even working in their favor, but they weren't totally realizing that they were the instigator for it. And at the end of the year, Gemini is going to realize they were in fact the instigator for a majority of their problems. And that's empowering. That's empowering. Geminis just can't hold normal jobs. Or if you have a normal job and you're a Gemini, you need to have a hobby where you get your chaos out. If you've got a normal job and you're a Gemini, then you need to go rock climbing, or you need to be skateboarding in the skate park, or you need to be freaking doing a new art form every week because Geminis need that chaotic stimulation because the energy of chaos is highly change making. It's not a bad thing that Geminis are attracted to that chaotic energy. We just need to learn how to use that in a way that works in our friends' favors. So if you have a friend, a loved one who is a Gemini, how can you help? Well, it depends, right? If they've got a very normal grown-up life, they're very like well behaved and very structured, then you're going to want to bring them into some fun, chaotic hobbies because low key, you haven't realized it, but they've been self-sabotaging to just get a taste of the chaos that they've been yearning for. And then if your Gemini friend or family member is pretty chill, no, that's not the right word. I don't want to use that word. If your Gemini friend or family member is pretty chaotic, messy, really overtly dealing with the chaos that they keep putting themselves in, then for them, bringing them more like fun or chaos is not going to do anything for them. You're going to have to instead speak words of affirmation into them to help them ground and to help them embody. You're going to have to get that friend to talk, to open up, get your Gemini friend who's got a chaotic life right now to open up to you about what they're insecure about. And I bet you once you hear what the Gemini is insecure about, they're going to be like, are you kidding me? That's so inaccurate. That's not you. That's not how you are. It's not even going to be hard for you to speak life into your Gemini loved one, honestly. You're going to hear the thing that's been holding them back and sabotaging them, and you're going to be like, that's not even true. That's not true. And you're only going to feel that conviction and that passionate friendship if it's a friend or family member that you actually love. But I can't tell you how powerful that is. Thinking that you're going to have to do a bunch of mental or emotional labor for a loved one when you say, open up, just tell me what's going on. Don't worry. And then they say something, you're like, oh my God, I can actually help you with this. Wait, I can actually help you with this. And how can I help you with this? By telling you reality. You're actually not of those negative things that you're saying that you are. All those things that you're insecure that you are, you're actually not. I've got great news for you. It's not true. You're not. And speak those words of affirmation into your Gemini friend that's going through the chaos in their life right now. And I hope that helps. I kept saying Capricorn doing the Gemini reading, so I must have something else to say to Capricorns. Oh, we're going to see some Gemini Capricorn partnerships in 2026. We're going to see some Gemini Capricorn partnerships in 2026. How exciting. Gemini Capricorn partnerships in 2026. Anything else? Anything else? What else can I tell you about that? Nope, that's it. Just going to be a really nice match.